warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I am Lailatul kurnia as the first speaker of the government team. Your super the motion is this house regret death penalty. Death penalty, also called capital punishment, is when a government or state executes or kills someone. Usually, but not always, because they have committed a serious crime. A crime that can be punished with the death penalty is called a capital crime or a capital offense. About 1/3 of the countries in the world have laws that allow the death penalty. The first, the United States, the People's Republic of China, Japan, and Iris are examples of countries that have a death penalty. Canada, Australia, Mexico, and all members of Council of Europe are examples of countries that have abolished the death penalty. Okay, I'm going to talk about my argument. The first argument is the death penalty models the behavior it seeks to prevent. The death penalty is used to deter killers, but it models the very behavior it seeks to prevent. It teaches the lesson that it is acceptable to kill, as long as the state is the one doing the killing. Hence, the term capital punishment. This is somewhat paradoxical. As my friend Desy said, we don't like people who like other people. So, to show everyone how much we don't like people who kill other people. Okay? The second argument is you might kill the wrong person. William Blackstone, the English jurist, judge and Tory politician of the 18th century, said, better that 10 guilty person escape death than one innocent suffer. The death penalty is irreversible, so it is critical that it be used on the actual killer. The last one, my argument is the death penalty might constitute cruel or unusual punishment. The English Amendment to the U.S. Constitution states excessive bail shall not be required, not excessive fines imposed, not cruel and unusual punishment inflicted. According to the U.S. Supreme Court, punishment is cruel and unusual if it is too severe for the crime. Arbitrary is rejected than a less severe penalty. The U.S. is one of the few countries in the world that has executed minors under 18 years old. In 2005, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the death penalty for minors over evolving standards of design and therefore constitute cruel and unusual punishment. I think that's all. I think enough for me. The next will be explained with my second speaker. Okay, thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Desy nofitasari as the first speaker from the opposition team. Disagree with the motion that this House regrets death penalty due to some reason, namely, first, death penalty prevents the destructive power of the nation's generation. Second, death penalty is more effective than the prison sentence. Third, death penalty does not violate human rights. And the last is death penalty protects communities from the dangers of crime. As the first speaker, I'm going to talk about our stance from the point 1 and 2. And my second speaker will explain our argumentation from the point 3 and 4. Before I deliver my speech, I would like to give some rebuttals regarding the speech delivered by first speaker of the opposition, from the government team. How can it be called unusual punishment while it has been carried out since 900 before century? Then, if the death penalty is cruel, is the crime committed by him not cruel? Now, come to my first argument. We believe that the motion is not true because 1. Death penalty prevents the destructive power of the nation's generation because drug dealers cause around 15 people to die every day in Indonesia. Even today, there are 4.2 million Indonesian citizens who are drug users, and 1.2 million of them cannot be cured. Until August 2018, drug users are 28% of children. How Indonesia will progress and develop if the nation's generation has been destroyed by drug dealers? So, doing a death penalty doesn't need to be regrettable because this can prevent the power of this can prevent the destruction of the nation's generation. Move on to my second point. We really disagree with the motion because death penalty is more effective than a prison sentence. Move on to my second point. We really disagree with the motion because death penalty is more effective than a prison sentence. sentence. Prison sentences will not deter someone who commits a major crime. Many surveys prove that someone who gets out from the prison tends to go to jail again because he repeated his action, he repeated his crime. For example, Fabio, O- for example, Fabio Ochoa, a famous drug dealer who was only jailed for 30 years, smuggling and circulating thousands of pounds of drugs. Is it possible that he doesn't have a syndicate? I think it's no. If it is not him, the syndicate does it, right? There is no deterrent word. Even they can control this game from behind bars. So, still regret the death penalty? In the end, we absolutely disagree with the motion under the reason of one, death penalty prevents the destructive power of the nation's generation. And second, death penalty is more effective than prison sentence. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
My name is Ciptani as the second speaker of government team. I want to tell more arguments to support our team. But before I deliver my argument, I want to rebuttal the first speaker of opposition team. She said that death penalty is more effective than prison sentence. I believe it's not true under the reason that death penalty is need a lot of money. Muhammad Rum, as the leader of General Legal Information Center, said that state should issuing fine up to 200 million rupiah for one suspect of death penalty. And not only need a lot of money, death penalty also take a long time until it is done. And the money needed used to accommodation, execution process, and funeral, and etc. So it is not effective at all. It is also make more complicated. Now I want to deliver my argument. My first argument is too much of risk and very fatal if something goes wrong. The party handling the death penalty case is only ordinary people who are not perfect and they might make a mistake. Start from investigation to stipulation of the suspect and sentence to death penalty. It is take a long process and involving many people, and it is increase the risk of mistake. And if it is happen, there will be someone who is harmed. For example, in the case that occurred in Claudie Jones, he was sentenced to death for allegedly shooting dead a tavern owner in Texas. He was arrested even though there was no witnesses who saw the perpetrator's face. And finally, in the crime scene, there is found a hair, and after DNA testing, the results show that Claudie is innocent. But the Texas court doesn't want to revise the decision of sentence, and that is a very fatal mistake. And it is actually a new crime case, and of course it is breaking the human rights. And now my second argument is no one has ever proven with numbers of death penalty stop other people committing similar crime. Death penalty usually exists with the aim of deterring other people and not committing violations that are equal or even worse. But it is different with the fact. For instance, in the suspect death penalty for drug dealer in 2016. The thing that happened actually increased drug cases from 807 cases in 2016 increased to 46,537 cases in 2017. Usman Hamid, as an executive director in Amnesty International Indonesia or AII, said that there is no evidence that the death penalty is an effective prevention to decrease number of crime. From that statement, we know that the death penalty should have been removed because the death penalty is not according to initial purpose as before, and it is actually detrimental to the person who is sentenced to death. That is still a thing that it is feared by humans, so it is inappropriate to be mocked. We should also think twice that people who get death penalty have responsibility to their children, wife, parents, and etc. And the most important thing, human right is non-derogatable right. So the law and the state cannot abolish or erase it from people. That's all my argument to support our team that agree with the motion. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
I'm Nadya as the second speaker of opposition team. I will tell you more arguments to support our team. My first argument is death penalty does not violate human rights, and then my second argument is death penalty protects communities from the dangers of crime. Before exploring this argument, I will give some points of rebuttals for the second speaker of government team. The second speaker of government team said that it is very fatal if something goes wrong. But if you look at one case and then consider a case and then consider revoking a death penalty, then that is a lack of thought, which needs to be done to reduce the same or similar mistakes. For going back in the future is by establishing a law about what procedures should be done before committing or determining someone to be sentenced to death. And how much evidence should they collect and how many witnesses they must present. By doing all of this, I am sure that the risk of death penalty errors will reach the minimum. The second is committing death penalty does not guarantee that crime will decrease. We said that before. She gave example about From 2016 until 2017, the cases of drug trafficking have increased. However, we must underline that the death penalty from 2016 until 2017 has decreased. Amnesty International Indonesia Executive Director Usman Hamid revealed there were 1,032 executions in 2016, which then decreased to 993 executions in 2017, which could be our benchmark that with the decrease in the number of executions that caused the increase in drug trafficking from 2016 until 2017 increased. Now, I want to say that I am disagree with the motion this House regrets death penalty. Under the reason, first, death penalty does not violate human rights. The court cites that the threat of capital punishment in the narcotics law does not conflict with Article 20HA and Article 20HI, Paragraph 1 of the 1945 Constitution. The imposition of the death penalty in the narcotics law also does not conflict with the international covenant on civil and political rights, because it entered qualification as the most serious crime. If we say that death penalty for drug traffickers violates human rights, it is the same as we have defended those who have taken away the rights of millions of people to avoid the dangers of drugs. To be able to live freely without worrying about drugs. And our death penalty is done to restore the basic rights of millions of Indonesian citizens to be able to live freely without fear and worry. And move to my second argument. My second argument is death penalty protects communities from the dangers of crime. In criminal theory, punishment is justified as long as it is based on four stepping stones. There are first, criminals aims to protect the public from all forms of crime that threaten the community. Second, criminal aims at protecting the public against perpetrators or conflicts. Third is penalty is justified in the aspects of apparatus control. And last is criminalization is justified in so far as it controls the values of society. In Indonesia, there have been 4.5 million people affected, and there are 1.2 million people who cannot be rehabilitation because of the condition is considered too severe. Not only in urban areas, but also in rural areas and even remote areas. Therefore, Indonesian president said he would not grant clemency to drug traffickers and would give a severe sentence. In this narcotics case, capital punishment such as the death penalty is justified because it protects the public from the dangers of drugs, protects and restores the balance of the values that exist in society. From this argument, I disagree With the motion, this House regrets death penalty. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Nadya as the third speaker of government team. I would like to strengthen my team arguments as well as to show the weakness of the opposition team. I will start giving rebuttal first. The first speaker of opposition team said that death penalty is more effective than a prison sentence. And this statement is totally incorrect. We have to hold on our human right. Why we don't choose a life sentence? With a life sentence, the crime will not go out from jail and the citizen will save because the crime. And the second speaker of the opposition team said that the death penalty does not violate human rights. The death penalty protects the public from crime. And I think this argument is totally incorrect too, because the death penalty is the same as taking human right, namely human right to life. Every human being in this country is given the freedom to live. So, if there is a death penalty, it is the same as taking all other human rights. Because if someone dies, all human rights will be exhausted because they cannot get other human rights. And it is not true that if the death penalty is carried off, the millions of other people are deprived of their right to avoid drugs. Why not by instilling in yourself that drugs are dangerous? In addition, drug offenders can be rehabilitated. And in addition, and she said that some justified the death penalty because there were convicted prisoners who could not be rehabilitated. I think it's wrong, because if it can be rehabilitated, why not be punished for life? It does not take human rights, even it can still get other human rights. And now, I want to show you the strength of our team. My first speaker said that the death penalty models the behavior is to prevent. This statement is totally correct, because when the government is used to do it, so the citizen in our country automatically think that kill someone is legal. The example is on the 10th of this December, there was a student who was attacked by the community at the mosque. The student named Hoidil died horribly after being persecuted by some people because they thought that he will steal the mosque charity box. Thought he will carry out prayers, and the mosque guard think that he is a thief. Until finally there is a beating incident until he dies. From this incident, we can conclude that the citizens think that a suspicious human being can be killed, even though it clearly violates the laws in this country. And the next, my second speaker said that too much of risks and very fatal if something goes wrong. And this argument is totally correct. My first speaker already told that might kill the wrong person. That's why we have to stop that penalty. That is all from us. If you think that our arguments support the motion, go with us. Thank you, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Maryani. As the third speaker, I will strengthen my team argument and also to prove the weakness of the government team. I will start by giving a rebuttal to the government team. The first objection from the first speakers of the death penalty government team follow a law that want to be prevent. On the first point of the government team, I disagree about what you want to prevent from the death penalty. First point, you can use the wrong person. The point I want to debate is the reason we are wrong in killing people, because before we have to make sure the person is truly and guilty and or not, and the law of death can be cruel and unusual punishment. Stating this is very untrue, because the death penalty has been carried out in various countries where they really kill the person who made a big mistake. The speakers is fatal if there is an error. What kind of mistake do you mean? No, one issue an error, because before counting legal of of death, it must be ascertained whether the person who will kill is indeed incorrect. No one has ever proven that in accordance with the law of kill other people from counting the same crime. Indeed, no one can be ascertained. And last, the third speakers of government team cite that finality is still violate human rights. Whatever the reason, she cites that other than death penalty, we can do prison for life, but imprison someone is still take their right to life freely. And there are some cases where where the prisoner still can deliver the drugs inside and even outside the prison.
People are not necessarily block an issue, they will make the same mistake. My second speaker cite the first argument that that Queloz did not this 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 dispute human right is very true because the the rule of law has been implemented so that anyone who disagree must the correct people from the danger of appeal. appeal. This is true because there is a law then crime will decrease. So, if you think of the law of that unusual or very un, in, inhuman, eating your eating you is wrong because the law of death in a country will decrease, and with this argument we desert desert win the debate this afternoon. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.